Maybe some idea grows while we're listening to the others. And they say, and we had the idea about the lupins as well, but also using it for something else or something.
So it's like a discussion as well as...
Yeah, exactly. Now we're like building stuff together. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this session can be as short and or as long as you want.
8 hours.
Last year was what, 2 or 3 hours? Something like that. And when you're done, you kind of maybe just try and figure out how you want to talk together or find each other on projects or what you want to do. And open up projects or close them down or whatever. We have these boards. We can put them out in the room if you want to move stuff or... Yeah, it's all up to you. So, yeah, if someone can start.
It's like that house that lights up in red every night, and the crazy bird like making crazy sounds all the time, and the graveyard, and the old factory, and like a sandbox as well. So like maybe have a radio on that side or something that would play sounds, and being able to listen to them from our side, basically.
Yeah, and Christian came with the idea of making like a parable that can like capture the sound. So you can point it to like some certain place, listen to it.
It's for fish that you should smoke, like it should be smoked, it should be only smoked fish. That was a really interesting, or marinated, exactly, in the oil. So that was a really interesting part because he also took it upon himself where he went around the restaurants and he was trying to get them to, you know, do stuff with the herring and experiment with it. And it was the first time he tried it himself that he got 4 of these and he managed to grill them for us and they tasted beautiful. You can ask Maria and Andy. He thought, well, he inspired us for that idea of like creating possibly like how can we, the bigger idea is how we can like reinstigate that interest in herring and not just take it for something that is, you know, quite like, you know, the standard of being smoked. You know, kind of appeal to the newer generations about what you can do with the herring and maybe like give creative ideas to the people in the houses or the restaurants to serve the herring and like be creative with it, like because you have so much of it that's getting, you know, thrown away, although it's widely celebrated. So it was sad, like, because you see like this great piece of history and they just chuck it away. So that was one thing, and then we came up with one of the ideas was to create kind of like a set of recipes, whether it's a book, it's a cookbook. At the end of the day, it's going to end up like a cookbook. Or maybe just something as simple as like a little booklet even. But also another interesting idea came up where we can create a stand of accessible herring food. So for example, deep fried herring rolls, like a tortilla bread, I don't know, or any kind of bread. And just to make it...
yeah, and also because the people in the town are really like to drive their cars. You could make it a drive-through.
Yeah, we suggested the idea to create it as a drive-through.
But it would be a fun...
Yeah. The herring falafel igloo.
Yeah, that's me and that's Arthur.
It could be like a funny shot at the town people.
So it's practically, I think, kind of like rebranding herring. Yeah. And we're creating this younger kind of brand of herring and how we can, like, you know, create it.
Make
something
herring cool.
Make herring cool, exactly. to the younger generations that they would because the older generations, they have no problems relating to it. Oh, my mom used to do it. They actually worked in it, you know, and you know, chopping up and sorting the herring. But the younger generations, they haven't experienced that. And as much as you create a museum, which is a great idea, but they can't relate to it because there is no, you know, there is no Pride 2.0. There is no new form of Pride to create for the herring.
Mhm.
So the cookbook, the stand or the drive-through, and we want to give it that very kind of like it's not fast foodish, but like something quite modern. Because, for example, Brauk is one of the examples, and she said she would like to see the brand, something a bit young, a bit that's something that she could relate to.
Sexy.
And sexy. But there is no McDonald's.
Sexy.
Huh?
Did she say that?
No, she didn't say that. No, it was just the modern bit that she said. There is no McDonald's in Iceland, apparently. So imagine that you create your own. We're not asking to like create a fast food chain. Just I think if we start something up with, putting interest back into herring and making it cool, as you said.
At the drive-thru, would there be like a huge sculpture of a herring?
Yeah,
Take your
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Go into the ass and then leave from the Oops. Yeah. That's
Is that actually
yeah, that is like, put it down. Yeah, that is I mean, we also want to think about the feasibility of it. So if we create something that is a bit more long-term, we only have very few days to create that. I think a stand would be an interesting idea, looking at the recipes as well, like exploring, creating that documentation, making people at least think, I might grab a couple of herrings from after the performances and do something with it. Maybe even the museum can benefit from like selling them.
You could give them a stand.
Huh?
You could give them a stand.
Exactly.
For
But
them
it's
to
also
use,
for the people,
yeah.
for the people to get the.
Yeah, but it's not so easy. They don't have any permission to sell.
Yeah.
Neither do we, of course.
But maybe we don't sell it.
We can do it as after, but to do it permanently, that's not possible.
No, but we're more talking about just like for now, for this,
Yeah.
for Reitir.
It could start as an idea. I mean, that's the thing. It's quite a big one. So if we start with just like the bit and maybe package it nicely in a presentation. Yeah.
Brauk and I, we were like spending time with the Brinja yesterday. We had like this Indian lasagna dish with fish, and she was speaking about this how to develop the notion of what you can do with
Herring.
not herring specifically,
Fish,
but just fish.
Yeah.
And she said it would be funny to like have this pop-up thing every summer maybe, or just a weekend or a week concerning with how can you do different dishes. And you told me about the story about in school that one of the kids had brought a cake, a very creamy cake that looked very different than any Icelandic thing. People didn't want to taste it because it looked different. But I think if you just create like an idea that you can do something different, I think that would be quite nice.
It would be interesting. And
Yeah, she's into it.
yeah, we actually mentioned that someone, what was it? Fish studies, is it?
Fisheries. And
Fisheries.
Fish University.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing like a project for school, like trying to make fish that you don't really use in Iceland more interesting again. Like, doing like exotic recipes and stuff with fish that we don't use, like herring and mackerel and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were gonna do flyers, but there's something for school. It's not outside of school.
Yeah.
But the idea was like they were doing it for the public.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin. That's very tough. Make these sort of black boxes, or
It's like this one and this one. A few people talked about having the idea of basically because it's light all the time that sometimes people need darkness to either be creative, to relax for whatever reason, to make their eyes relax, something like that. So it was a case of whichever way to do it, there's lots of different ideas going around, but to either go inside or put something over your head that made you see just darkness for a while and have these things dotted around. That was one idea.
Then there was to do sort of an installation in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Sounds, visuals.
Yeah, projected onto the water. It may be reflecting onto the ceiling and might like go through the water and project on the bottom of the pool. You could swim around in the movie, be part of the movie or sound installation. It's quite nice.
And because there's good acoustics in the swimming pool, it's such a lovely building. Maybe people could be there and could hear what's going on and see and be part of what's going on as well. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if this developed that, but to do a
show.
performance of synchronized swimming in the pool, maybe with projections. Sort of.
Like weird costumes. Oh, that's great.
It's also quite nice to have like this space as a swimming pool where all the city goes, all the town goes to meet at the hot tub, and like suddenly it would be a total different place with this. So it would surprise a lot of people, I guess.
There's still be a swimming pool.
Yeah, they'd still be able to do whatever they want to do, but it would just be like surrounded by
Boy herring in the water.
Yeah. They swim with the herring.
Is the projector we've got good enough to we were chatting about this earlier? Just worrying because it's such a nice
You can get others.
We'll get another one. Okay, cool. So,
And there was this theatre, like, to reenact the fights between North and South, the children of North and South, in a puppet theatre or shadow theatre, maybe on the graveyard.
In the graveyard.
Yeah.
Tell the story about how
To
they built
do
the bomb.
like a play, yeah.
Yeah.
How they built the bomb and made that building explode, something like that.
Please don't include me on that one.
Huh?
Please don't include me on that.
That's yeah.
Look at that one.
Like also do a little building, maybe a little shack for recreational work, or like give something to the citizens that would belong to everybody. Like a little shed on top of a hill that people could go there, and maybe it only got room for one person that could sit there and dream away, or it could be in a secret place and nobody would know that it was there until it stood there, and you would like tell the story about, like, I saw something on one of the boards of rumors.
Yeah, to spread a rumor about
Start
this
the
little
rumor
place.
about this little new house that you could go visit, and you would have to find it, and maybe even make one treasure map that you could copy or so, or like share on the internet or whatever.
But there was many different variations of it, because some of them were that it was closed, and some were like it was framing a view, or even combine it with the camera obscura ideas from the board.
Yeah, or like putting in a guest book or like a dream book or whatever, that people could leave something, leave a trace of what they experienced.
Yeah, you could have like chalkboard inside, and people could do like famous messages and stuff.
Also to maybe challenge the theme about doing something more temporary, if you could get the permission to let it stand, at least let it decay. Yeah, one idea.
Then there's to do, because in old times the town was sort of filled with smoke from all the factories and stuff, and made like a smoke installation in the town with a lot of...
They called it money smell.
Yeah, money smell, but just do like these smoke installations around to have a lot of smoke in the town again.
Yeah, and talking about smoke, Andy had a vision blowing up balloons the other day. He would like to see how it looked like if you filled a balloon with smoke and then popped it. Because we had this thought that it might be like a ball of smoke dissolving slowly into the air and
If you
disappearing.
record it on video.
Yeah,
it would
Like
take
Yeah.
and
then
in slow
project it.
motion. And that evolved into him trying to avoid getting attacked by birds at the other side, walking over there, because if he like put his hand in the air, they would go for the hand instead of his head. So maybe he could trick the birds into like going after a balloon full of helium or so, and if it popped, it might scare him off or so. Yeah. Also a nice video, like just a strange bit like that. Video. And you whining, like trying to compare or like bind together some of those interests. Pop. Exactly.
Then there's the flag idea, which I think has been discussed.
Yeah, it's been discussed.
Never, can I say, like, we had a similar, or like a smoke idea last year. We wanted to do something with smoke. Me and Andreas wanted to use like the mountain there and put like smoke bombs, and one guy with a fire could just run and like there where you went walking the other day, yeah, or whatever, just. And Arnar, what did the guy say with his smoke bombs?
Finish the wall.
Okay, so no smoke bombs.
No smoke.
But okay.
They do that during New Year's.
Like this?
Yeah. They go
yeah.
with a smoke thing from the boats. You know, all the leftovers from the boats.
Mm-hmm.
So they toss it, they light it on fire.
Mm.
But also you could make smoke out of a bonfire, and bonfires tend to attract people, and it gathers people around them. And it seems to be a really social thing, and there's already been a lot of talk about bonfires on rafts on water at Bath Beach or whatever. So you can do like smoke installation. Maybe just, being the bonfire guard for 1 hour and taking turns. So at different spots in the city. There's already pinned out 10 different spots, I guess, or more. Like the tour you gave. 11, yeah. Could be 11 different bonfires. Yeah, well, not in here maybe.
And actually our group before was actually thinking about to make like a DIY sauna with like burning woods. So it's totally DIY, so it could be like smoke coming out, and we were thinking about the beach, right? And then
Or
maybe
someplace else. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. But just we're thinking about the beach because it would be nice to go to a sauna and then to the sea and back.
Yeah.
Then
Some of the things you might have heard before, ish, but yeah. Anyways, let's start here. Do it yourself anything, kid? So it was kind of an idea to activate the people with something. It could be anything, but just some kind of do-it-yourself kit. Kind of hangs together with the sauna, like a do-it-yourself sauna at the beach, or you could recycle some kind of stuff from the scrapyard and build a sauna, and also burn some of the trash in the sauna, or at least the wood trash. You guys just tag along if I'm not saying it correctly. So there was like cultural speed dating. So there was a story like yesterday about somebody that never traveled but only went to Berlin. And so maybe if people didn't travel, they would come like meet someone from another country. Maybe someone from Hong Kong.
Who happens to be single?
That's why we try. All these 33 concepts or ideas, basically we're quite trying to involve the local as well, like through the project, try to kind of make them do something or do something with them and stuff. Nothing dirty, Sean, don't give me that. So cultural speed dating is pretty much like, because I thought this year we are kind of international. We've got people from the UK, Poland, like German, like China and stuff. So I guess it might be good to do some kind of like cultural exchange. And yesterday our group was having some kind of like a map with like a culture hunt. So we would maybe make something with flag of our own country and then put it somewhere in town, and you have to find it. And today we have this speed dating stuff.
Could always mix with the flags as well.
Mix with the flag.
The flags.
Yeah. We could put you somewhere besides the whole flagpole. So we can do it. If you want to meet a Chinese one, you go there. Flag says Chinese.
Yeah.
And then after an hour, somebody else is at another place. And
just a disclaimer, I think it's coming out of pure coincidence, but we've been secretly preparing with Priya as well for something which is, takes kind of the format of speed dating. We're not going to say a lot, okay, but we wanted to keep it as a surprise. Like in brackets.
No,
but yeah, I think it's now that you mentioned that it's about cultural speed dating and all of that, it's kind of different, and I think the format that we're working with is relatively different. But we just want to say a disclaimer that we're not ripping anyone's ideas. I think we came up with an idea at the same time. I think some people were discussing it outside, and someone heard us. No, no. So we're just saying there's gonna come a day where we're gonna tell you what we're gonna do, and yeah.
It would also be nice to catalog how many nationalities live in Sigurður.
Yeah. There are some foreigners in this town as well.
Yeah, lots of people who have been, born somewhere else and moved to here.
that's what we said, like it's about mixing those
Some have
people
been
up.
living for maybe 60 years here. It would be interesting to see how many nationalities live here.
And then we also think about sound exchange. Kind of basically sound that you where you have.
Well, I just gave this as
example.
An example. We were talking about being in the theatre with sound.
It's still there.
In a
we had, of course, a lot of the same ideas as the others, all mixing very well, and we thought about this tiny house or hut, or I don't know. It could possibly be on wheels, maybe, and we were thinking about this camera obscura thing. Made a prototype. It works a bit. And so we were thinking about making this hut or house being as multifunctional as possible to bring as many ideas as possible at the same spot, because we have so many small good ideas. And for example, Kasia had this really good idea about photo booth, which probably most of you know about how it works. You stick your face in the wall and there's like, Vikings robbery something. Sorry?
In Brighton Pier, there's people actually nude.
Yeah. That's for later on. Yeah, so house with multiple talents. And of course we want to try to put lupin in it as well. Some kind of booster, or paint it with lupin, or even have put this hut on top of where there is lupin already. So there would be like a lupin floor. We want to make a walking path. But it's gonna be dark room because so the camera obscura will work. So I don't know how to think that out.
Well, the original idea of the camera obscura was kind of me, Ben and Jess were in the Herring Museum, and there was like a beam of light that hit the floor, but there's all the old photographs around. And we kind of came up with the idea then. And it's a bit kind of like the history is in the photographs, that you'd actually be part of the camera almost. So the people going in would be sort of like not part of history, but part of the moment, if you see what I mean. That was kind of the original concept of it. And then at one point I was thinking you could carve into the lupins up there, because everything is reversed and upside down in a camera obscura, so you could make the message backwards and upside down that would be barely legible, but you'd have to go in the camera obscura to understand what it was.
Well, and I was thinking about how to frame this whole lupin idea we all have, because I heard like the lupin was like a rumor going on everywhere, and I think we could like connect it in a way, because I think it would be a bit useless to have this opening day and then the lupin project here and there and there. And what is interesting for me with the lupins is that they are, for me, they're a bit like immigrants. At some point, lupin came or was brought here, you know, for any kind of reason, and also they are useful and nice and beautiful and that. But on the other hand, now they are meant to be so destructive, and people want to get rid of the lupins because they are so bad, and they are kind of like taken over, you know. And so I think
the lupin is the new era.
Huh?
The lupin is the new era.
It's quite funny because I think it's so little, and the immigration rate is so low. I mean, there are so little immigrants, and the lupin is here, and
but only immigrants.
Kind of. And I think the lupin thing is that people maybe they don't really identify with the lupin, you know, that because it's like not an Icelandic thing. And so I think we could have this kind of lupin festival or something, because here are so many, as Anna's grandmother told us, here are so many festivals going on in the summer for the tourists and also for the locals. And we are like something in between tourist local things. I mean, we are like the art tourists a bit. And so I think we could connect the ideas and make this lupin festival, maybe decorate the town with the lupins or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, just to frame it in a way and to put this element of exotism in it, and only like this, also this integration thing, aspect, but I mean in a funny way, not this super serious, like integrate the lupin.
Yeah, someone mentioned earlier, it's exactly like, I think, following up that concept of like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
And they're not Icelandic flowers.
Yeah.
And I don't know who mentioned it, and then I thought about, imagine if you create that, like very, but it's sticking to this obviously, it's just like a children's book, but it's very like propaganda, like, yeah, this evil man from the land of blah blah blah, he came and he started, you know, planting lupins while no one was watching. and then those lupins, you know, they're taking over our cute Icelandic plants and gardens and stuff like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very similar, I think, the idea
Yeah.
of like something that is borrowed from outside.
Yeah. So I was just thinking that maybe we should be aware, like how we treat the lupins.
Yeah.
You know?
Where does it stand?
And yeah, and maybe connect it and make this kind of festival or something. And also, I thought it would be funny or interesting to like reenact the cultural heritage, like myths or legends or whatever this could be with the lupin.
Yeah.
It could be performative, or it could be like this photo booth thing that you adapt yourself or identify yourself with this image of the lupin, you know, just by stepping into the image and put your head in it, you know. And so, yeah, that's fun.
The Alaskan wolf is how some people refer to it. Because a lupin's got the same word base as wolf.
Wolf.
It's called
the
lupin.
Alaskan.
Lupus.
Lupus. No.
Lobos.
But yeah, I like try to, because everyone the lupinism, everyone